Over the last 5 years that I've been active in crypto, I've realized that there are many similarities from cycle to cycle to cycle. And what I saw yesterday and the day before that, when the market dropped, was a key sign that one thing from the previous few cycles that I've been a part of is now being applied to this cycle. And if you can successfully pull it off, you will make an absolute shit ton of money this bull market. And so we're going to be talking about exactly what that is, how you can do it, a few different ways that you can do it, and much more. So with that said, let's get into it. So Tyler, the big question, what in the world can I be doing during this bull market to make more money? It's going to be annoying how simple it is, but it's not as simple as you would think. And it's to buy when things are ugly. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, dude, you made me click on this video for that. Just hear me out. Okay. Let me explain to you what this bull market's likely going to look like, okay? Let's go to the computer here. So during the bull market, you're going to see three things play out pretty commonly, okay? Thing number one is the quick knee-jerk reaction in which you're going up, bam, and you go straight to the downside, generally recover and continue upwards, but sometimes, of course, that does get dragged out a little bit more. It does something like that and then continues upwards, okay? This is what's going to happen a lot of the time. This is a result of the liquidations that are going to happen in this market as people over-leverage themselves to the upside. Of course, the whales are going to step in and manipulate this thing to the sense that they can liquidate them to the downside before continuing to the upside. This is going to happen rather often. Now, the next thing that's going to happen rather often, and I'll explain why this matters in a second, is that the market will be going upwards, will consolidate a little bit, will flatten out, and oftentimes we will continue upwards, but again, sometimes off of these, you will see something like this, in which you will see a pullback to the downside and then a continuation to the upside, okay? This happens also rather often, and usually what happens here is it'll go sideways, and whichever direction there's more liquidity in, right? So whichever direction there's more liquidity in, that's going to be the side in which we're going to get this little fake out and then a continuation. So say, for example, if we're going sideways and there's a bunch of people shorting it, expecting the market to fall, we're just going to continue upwards. If everybody is expecting this thing to break upwards and there's a ton of liquidity to the upside of people expecting it to push upwards, you'll usually get this pull to the downside, liquidate them, and then continue to the upside. It's just generally what happens. Now, the next thing that you're going to see is the extended pullback. Okay, the extended pullback is when the market's doing well, it gets really beat up, usually tries to recover, and then goes into a more sideways consolidationary moment before continuing to the upside over the long term. This does happen every now and then. It's usually big, so there's maybe one, maybe two during the bull market. There's not a lot of them. A piece of me feels like we might see a little bit more of an extended cool down relatively soon, but obviously at the end of the day, that's all hearsay. That's all just whatever, right? That's just guessing, right? This is something like we saw back in 2021 during the summer lull of 2021. I don't know if you guys were here for that or not, but it was very, very annoying, right? The market was doing extremely good. We rallied, got again that quick jerk reaction to the upside. We went a little bit sideways, boom, continue upwards, and then we went straight into this pullback for a couple months here. This was 3 months of kind of just red, making a lot of people think that this was the bear market, right? A lot of people thought that, right? And so oftentimes you're going to see again those just knee-jerk reactions, and boom, and then it actually continues into a more long-term cool down. So again, let's kind of recap. You're going to have the quick reactions, the bam bams to the upside, or they may also look a little bit like this. Bam. You're going to have these. Sorry about that. We're going to have these. Boom, 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 boom. So this group right here, this group right here, or you're going to have the more macro cool down into the continuation. Do you see a commonality between all of them? Do you see a commonality between all of them? The commonality is either the higher low into the continuation, or literally just sideways movement into continuation, but all of them continue to the upside, okay? It might take a while. We might have 3 months where it pulls back, but many of them will continue upwards at some given point. Now, why is that? It's because we're in a bull market. In a bull market, no matter how you feel, generally speaking, we will see cryptos go up over the long term. Now, this isn't going to last forever. It may last 5 months, it might last 10 months, it might last 18 months, but it doesn't last usually years, okay? And so at this given point, what you have to understand is that this is the time where we can say this is what's going to happen, but eventually we won't be able to say this anymore. But for now, things are likely just going to go up, even if they pull back from where we are right now. Even if Bitcoin goes from 69,000 to 54,000 or 40,000, it's likely going to continue upwards over time. We're in a bull market, it's just what happens, okay? So the question then becomes, well, how do I get rich during this? What are you talking about, bro? How do I get rich during this? Well, what I've noticed is that, there's a sequence here. If the market pulls back, things get ugly, people freak out, people start opening shorts because they're on leverage and they have extra money to play with, and the market looks for a continuation to the upside. So the question then becomes, what should you do? Well, clearly, in these moments is when you should be buying. Let me give you an example. Imagine in here if you bought, you're up. If you bought in here, you're up. If you bought in this sideways moment, you're up. If you bought right here, you're up. If you bought, 4 or 5 times during this move to the upside, guess what? You're up. And as you consistently build into these portfolios, generally speaking, you are making some beautiful gains throughout the process every time the market gets ugly. And now, yes, again, there will be some times that look like this, right? In which the market does continue down past where you bought in. But if you continue that accumulation over time, you will win. Let me show you. So yesterday, we saw a beautiful example of this. Okay, yesterday we saw a beautiful example of this. Now, there's no saying that this is going to continue upwards right now. We might not break 70K. We might continue down for a while, but you see what I mean. The market rallies all the way up to this new all-time high, right? This new all-time high right around $69,400. Immediately, Bitcoin gets a pullback 15% to the downside. And although we've not recovered through that all-time high, you can see if you were buying anywhere in this little wick to the downside, dude, you're probably up anywhere from 7 to 10%. That's just Bitcoin. That's just Bitcoin. Now, if you do add in a little bit of leverage, which you shouldn't add a lot, 2x, 3x leverage, now you're up anywhere from 15 to 20 to 30% just off of Bitcoin, just off this little move because you bought when times got red. You bought when times got ugly. Now, if you do want to do your buying, use the link down below to Margex. You do get a couple $100 deposit bonus. You don't have to KYC, meaning you don't have to give them your personal information, and you don't have to use a VPN from anywhere in the world. You just deposit money and start trading with my link down below. Go check it out again, as I mentioned before. But again, at the end of the day, had you just done that, you make gains. You get rich. That's what happens over time. You make these gains consistently over time because its pattern remains the same over time. Now, there's two ways that you can do it. Way number one is the easy way. Way number one is the free way. The free way is just saying, okay, when things feel bad, I buy. It's not that hard. When things go down, you can say when the market falls, a certain crypto, if Bitcoin falls 6%, I buy. If it falls 8%, I buy. That's not a bad tactic. Now, another tactic that you can use is, you guys know, we developed HG Algo for this specifically. These types of moments specifically. I don't have time to watch the market anymore all day. I just don't. Don't have time to watch charts all day. I just don't. I have shit to do, right? So what I did with my company is we designed HG Algo, which gives you a DCA feature, which tells you this is a good time to dollar cost average in. This is a good time to dollar cost average out. And as you can see for so many cryptos yesterday, right? On Bitcoin on the 30-minute charts, what you can see here is HG Algo sends this DCA plus feature like, look, this is a good time to buy. What happens? The market continues a little bit and goes upwards. Now that's profitable. Looking at something like Ethereum, it goes off right here for ETH. I would have bought a little bit more just because it felt bad, but obviously, as you can see here, beautiful buy, now it's profitable. You're looking at something like BNB, beautiful buy, now it's profitable. You're looking at something like kaspa, times this thing literally at the bottom, and even though it's not recovered a ton, it's still a beautiful buy. Now it's profitable. Even back here, even though this over time is negative, that's what happens. It's okay. This didn't end up profitable, right? You go into something like Jasmine. Look at this. Gives you one buy signal here, gives you another buy signal at the very bottom of this move, telling you, look, this thing's a beautiful moment. Had you bought this anywhere near that, you're up 35%. You're up 40%. Do you get what I'm saying? You don't need HG Algo to do this. You can just say, oh shit, it's ugly. This isn't good. I buy. Now when you buy, it goes up. And now take some profits off the table. It's easy. Let your long-term bag do the work for you. Do the heavy lifting. Make some profits on these little short-term moves to the upside. Build into these little short-term positions. Take profits off those positions. Funnel them into your long-term portfolio and build that thing up as it does make gains over the next 24 months. That's what people do to get rich. It's not this fucking crazy complex formula that you need to follow. It's quite simply buy when shit is ugly and sell it when it feels better. And this is something that you can do. Again, you either buy it based off of intuition or you get HG Algo with the link down below. You'll get 20% off and you quite simply just wait for it to flash and it'll give you good time frames. Find a time frame that you want. 30 minutes is what I use, or an hour is also good. Go in when the DCA plus feature flashes, just buy some crypto. It's not that hard. And over time, you will accumulate these things in great times. Look at Bitcoin. This is another beautiful example. Let's just look at Bitcoin on the 30-minute time frames. Look at these times where we were getting buy signals. Look, I don't have to do this math for you. Look at these beautiful times before that big ass pump. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to use emotion. You didn't have to think for yourself. You could quite simply just use this and buy some as it went up. And look, I don't even have to say anything. You can see it yourself. And so again, yes, at the end of the day, yes, am I plugging my own indicator because I do gain financially if you do use it? Yes, obviously, that's a part of this. But at the end of the day, the principle remains the same. I made this indicator based off of the principle that when times get ugly, buy a little bit of crypto. When it feels better, sell a little bit of crypto. Or if you buy a little bit of crypto because times are ugly and it continues to go down, buy more and buy more and buy more and buy more, especially in a bull market, because you know what's going to happen? Eventually, the likelihood is that we're going to go up, and all of those buys and all of that laddering into the position that you did throughout that little pull to the downside are going to rocket into profitability rather fast because your average cost was consistently getting reduced. Okay, that principle led to this indicator. And so again, you don't need the indicator whatsoever. Just do that. When it gets ugly, buy some in. If you don't don't want to use your emotions, use the indicator. Do as you please. It doesn't matter to me, but this is the easiest way to make money over the next few months, and the next few years probably, okay? And so I will continue to update you as all of this market does play out. But yesterday was just such a beautiful example of how you can just make money in this market. Being up a possibly 30-40% on Jasmine, being up 15-20% on something like Solana, being up 8% to 30% on Bitcoin if you were using a little bit of leverage. That's not easy to do. And the fact that you could have done that within a span of 24 hours shows you that there's money to be made. You just need to know how to make it. And this is how you make it. It's not complex. All these other fucking influencers are going to give you these crazy complex formulas, or you need to do this and this and this and that. It's not that hard. I've been in this market long enough to realize that all that shit is smoke and mirrors. It comes down to the core principle of buy when it's ugly and sell it when it feels better, okay? And so I wanted to just give you an update on that today. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. As I mentioned before, you can use the Margex links down below if you want to have a platform to trade on, or if you want to use HG Algo, use the link down below. You can get 20% off on that thing right now. But with that in mind, I have another video coming out for you in a little while here, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.